Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GMB Today. I hope everyone is having a wonderful day. During Friday's edition of The Chase, host Bradley Walsh fronted the show's four random people who had never met before. Joe from Newcastle, Tanya from Retford, Felicity from Marlow, and Camel from London took on the chaser. Joe started off well in the cash builder round, gaining £7,000 in an impressive general knowledge round. After declining to go for the high offer of £30,000, he settled for his original amount but sadly was caught by Chase and Hegarty in the dying moments. Joe was quizzed about Jane Fonda, a Brazilian city with the biggest population, Sir Walter Raleigh, the author Harry Patterson, and words that were superlative, but he had gotten most of them wrong. The final question Joe had to get right to make it to the final part of the show was about video games. It was about the correct genre of video games, where the three options were hover and drag, point and click, and tap and scroll. Han Hegarty was back in the main chaser chair. Image, ITV. Bradley then sighed and exclaimed, "What does that even mean?" Sadly, Joe got the question wrong, and he was caught at the death. Meanwhile, the rest of the team saw Felicity from Marlow and Camel from London also being knocked out, whilst Tanya managed to make it back to the final round. She only managed to get 15 questions right on her own, with just £1,000 in the final jackpot. Emmerdale. Robert hits Victoria by accident. The governess Anne Hegarty managed to catch her with 35 seconds left on the clock, with Anne saying that she was pleased with her personal performance. We use your sign-up to provide content in ways you've consented to and to improve our understanding of you. This may include adverts from us and third parties based on our understanding. You can unsubscribe at any time. Read our privacy policy. In other news, Paul the Cinnamon Sinner broke a huge rule on the ITV quiz show moments before the final chase. During yesterday's episode on Thursday, 22 May, he decided to offer the team of two a deal before entering the final chase. He told the pair, "I rarely make favours if there's only two back, but they both got £7,000 in their cash builder round and they could get a really good score. So I'll make them a slight, very slight, favour." At this point, Bradley asked him, "What's the target to beat?" To which he revealed 19. Liz and Dave couldn't help but turn to each other and raise their eyebrows as they prepared for the achievable challenge of correctly answering 19 questions. But when it came to the final chase, the pair only managed to answer 12. In the final showdown, Paul caught them with a nail-biting 10 seconds to spare after 3 pushbacks from the team of 2. It was another lively afternoon in the iconic studio of The Chase. The lights blazed, the dramatic music pulsed, and 4 contestants stood hopeful under the watchful eye of Bradley Walsh, who, as always, was ready with his wit, charm, and mischief. Today's team was an interesting bunch. An astrophysicist named Priya, a retired magician called Tony, an overly enthusiastic librarian named Zoe, and Jake, a scaffolder who described himself as good with ladders, bad with quizzes. With the vixen, Jenny Ryan, waiting in the wings, the tension was already thick. As the cash builder began, it was Priya who stepped up first, rattling off answers like a human encyclopedia. The studio was impressed. Even Jenny raised a curious eyebrow from backstage. But then came the third question, one that would throw the entire show into chaos. Bradley squinted at the screen and read aloud, "In philosophical discourse, what is epistemological solipsism primarily concerned with?" The studio fell silent. There was a beat. Then Bradley blinked, looked back at the screen, then back at the audience. "Wait, what?" he muttered. A pause. Then louder. "What does that even mean?" The audience burst into laughter, and even the usually composed Priya stifled a giggle. Bradley turned dramatically toward the production crew. "Is this still The Chase, or have I wandered into University Challenge?" He tried to read the multiple choice options. A. The impossibility of knowing other minds. B. The rejection of mathematical realism. C. The duality of linguistic pragmatism. He stopped. "Pragmati-waity?" he exclaimed. Laughter roared through the studio again. "Right, let's break this down. Bradley continued, holding up the cue card like it might bite him. Epistemo. Logic. Solo. Something? Epistemological, Pryor offered helpfully. Bless you, Bradley said automatically. Even Jenny couldn't stay silent anymore. Her voice rang out from the sidelines. It's a fair question. Bradley turned to the camera, his hands in the air. Folks, I've been doing this job for over a decade. I've seen Shakespeare questions, brain-melting science riddles, and even had to pronounce Welsh town names with 19 consonants in a row. But this has broken me. As laughter filled the studio, tears welled in his eyes, not from emotion, but sheer bafflement. He dabbed them away with a handkerchief. I need hazard pay for this level of English. Ultimately, Pryor coolly answered, explaining, it's the belief that one can never be sure if other minds exist, only your own. Bradley looked straight at her, deadpan. I'll take your word for it, but now I need a nap. That clip, complete with Bradley's baffled cry of, what does that even mean?, went viral within hours. Memes exploded across the internet. One particularly popular one showed Bradley's face photoshopped into the Matrix with the caption, "There is no spoon," or epistemology. Even weeks later, viewers still giggled at the moment that turned the chase from quiz show to philosophy class, and reminded everyone why Bradley Walsh remains the beating heart of British telly.